start time.
Right.
45 seconds for your opening speech, 90 seconds response to the questions, and then 45 seconds for your closing speech.
And then you're going to get a 15-second signal and a stop.
All right.
That's right.
Never see that.
All right, with that being said, the floor is yours, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Tracy Lesser, opposite of Greater Lesser. So I am running because I'm a CPA. I have more than 35 years experience, and I'm hoping that I can bring my financial skills.
Can't hear.
You can't hear me?
No.
Okay,
Hold that close.
can you hear now?
Yeah.
Okay, my name's Tracy Lesser, and I am running because I'm a CPA. I have more than 35 years of experience, almost 40 years, and I'm hoping that I can bring my skills and my education and understanding of financial matters to help through our financial crisis that we are going through and will continue to help us recover from that.
All right. Thank you very much, ma'am. Question 1. What do you believe is the top priority facing the Winston-Salem County School Board right now? And what do you believe will be the top priority going forward after the general election?
Okay, so finances, which everybody has talked about, is one of the biggest issues that is facing the board and will continue on once the election happens. Recently, I guess it was Wednesday, a report came out and it discussed all the issues that the Central Financial Office is facing, and the issue with the accounting, and Dr. Phipps had presented a 10 recovery recommendation steps, and it's a 24-month platform. And I think the school board, as well as the superintendent, needs to make sure that they are going to follow those recommendations and the action plan that was set forth by Dr. Phipps. I agree with that. I think our biggest priority right now is hiring a CFO. And once that gets into place, he or she can go ahead and they can actually set their financial team, and it will begin with that.
All right, very good. Question 2. If elected, do you agree your responsibility as a school board member includes monitoring the school system's finances each month and taking corrective action if needed?
I agree with that.
Okay, question 3.
Again, as a CPA with almost 40 years of experience, I think I can tackle those financial issues. I think that some of the things that we need to make sure gets completed is the implementation of the software system correctly, both phase 1 and phase 2. And that will lead to some of the things. We need to develop SOPs, standard operating procedures. We need to have internal controls. Again, all of this will happen once the financial team is in place, because currently I think most of the finances are being done by Hill Consultants. And that needs to be rectified. So, yeah, I think I can do that.
All right, thank you very much, ma'am. Question 3. What actions should the school board take to rebuild trust with parents, taxpayers, and staff?
All right, trust. Once it's broken, it's going to be hard to rebuild that. And the way I rebuild trust is through actions. And it's not through words. It's actually demonstrating that we have the capabilities as a school board to lead and to provide oversight to the school district. It's going to be necessary that through transparency, budget to actual financial statements have to be presented at each one of the board meetings. And these should be computer-generated budget to actual, not somebody cobbling numbers from 2 different systems together, because that leads to human error. Things such as if there are big issues, they should be discussed at those public school meetings. Curriculum. Again, we have to have our achievements that we need to discuss, and if we are in F situation, we need to discuss that, and we need to have recommendations on how we're going to improve our academic performances.
All right, thank you very much, ma'am. Question 4. The enrollment in Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools has been decreasing. A projection has been given that from this year, 2025 to 2026, we're going to go from 51,000 to under 45,000 in 2033. How will you address that, and how will you instill trust for parents and students to enroll back into the school system?
All right, so declining school enrollment, some of that we can't help, right? Because birth rates are lower. So it's just a progress and an outcome of lower birth rates. The other things is we have got to demonstrate that our school system is a safe place for our children to get an education. So safety would be one of those things that I would be an advocate to. Let's make the schools stronger. You know, let's improve it with metal detecting devices and SRO personnel that have the authority to actually do something. Let's get our academic achievement up as well. And then the third thing is probably behavior and code of conduct. I'm not a fan of the 70-page glossy code of conduct we currently have. I think we need to make a shortened code of conduct that has some teeth into it, that has zero tolerance for really bad behavior, and I think there should be expectations, and any discipline should be age-appropriate discipline for the children that break those expectations.
All right, very good. Thank you, ma'am. Question 5. What criteria will you use to evaluate the performance of the current superintendent and senior level staff of the Winston-Salem Forsyth County school system?
Can you repeat that?
Sure. What criteria will you use to evaluate the performance of the current superintendent and senior level staff of the Winston-Salem Forsyth County school system?
So the superintendent reports to the school board. And so the school board should set forth expectations of what it wants the superintendent and what goals he or she should meet, and evaluate the superintendent based on those criteria and expectations that were set out at the beginning of the year. It's just like regular business, what you would do for a performance evaluation. And if he and she does not meet those criteria or those expectations, then it might be time to look for a new superintendent. Personally, I do like Dr. Phelps, and I do believe that he is in the right place right now. He's just been here for a few short months, so word is still out on what he can do. But after watching him at the state board meeting and and listening to a couple of his talks, I do think he's the right person right now.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Question number 6. How will you handle the pressure, scrutiny, and controversy that comes with this position? And how do you address the severe financial mismanagement and loss of confidence from parents and taxpayers?
All right, pressure. I think this is a lot of pressure. Personally, I am not a good public speaker, so this is a lot of pressure for me. As far as the financial crisis, again, I think that we have done a lot in a short amount of time. I think number one was identifying that we have a problem. It's like anything else. And once we do know that we have a problem, we have to set forth how we're going to rectify that problem. I think there is a big problem with our central financial office, and I think one of the first steps is finding that CFO and getting a team into place. I think getting the software implemented will also help us with some of the financial issues we're having. I think getting internal controls, standard operating procedures, workflow, all the things that were identified in the most recent audit as far as the deficiencies that the central office is facing need to be corrected. And I think the 10-step plan in the 2 different phases that was set forth, if we follow it and we're vigilant in following that we will be able to move forward.
All right, thank you. The mission statement for the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools is we will engage all students in a high-quality, relevant learning experience, and they will graduate with interpersonal, academic, and workforce skills to compete locally and also globally so they can contribute to society. Is our school system fulfilling that mission? Do you think yes? And how are they doing that? If no, how are they not? And how can that be corrected?
Again, I don't think it's as bad as everybody thinks it is. I think we have some wonderful students that are graduating from our public school system. I think we get bad press on the ones that are not. And, that's just part of what it is, whether it was my children 20 years ago or whether it is today. So we have to have trades. We have to use Forsyth Tech, and the skills that they have, because we need people that are in trades. We need people that are going to be productive members of society. And so what we have to do is we have to be able to educate them and hopefully make sure that they get to that goal.
All right, very good. Question number 8. This question deals with the security issue and the board unanimously passing a plan to deal with student mental health. The data shows from 3/4 of the 2024 and 2025 school year were presented by a department that oversees this plan. The data showed that suicide safety assessments and behavior threat assessments for the 2024-2025 school year were trending higher than previous years. In our current year, we had a student killed at a high school, North Forsyth. We had a loaded gun go off of the campus of West Forsyth. Given the safety, security, and mental health failures that was just listed, if elected, what proposals will you make to address these issues?
I would advocate for the metal detecting devices in all high schools and all middle schools. I would also advocate for SRO agents or SRO personnel to be available at those places and to give the SRO personnel a little bit of teeth so that we're not just sending them back to the principal, that they can actually have some role. I would also say for mental health that, like someone had said, that we should have the county mental health professionals available to our students. Not all students will go seek them, but maybe by having those professionals available for them to see might help someone. Again, it's going to take a community for people that have mental health issues. Not everybody's going to be brave enough to admit that they have them. So, through teachers, through other professionals, hopefully, we can do something about the children that have these issues.
All right, thank you, ma'am. That does it for the questions. You will have 45 seconds to give your closing speech.
So again, I'm Tracy Lesser, and I am running on a platform of fiscal responsibility, fiscal integrity, and accountability. I said this before, I'm a numbers gal. I'm not an educator. I am not a former educator. But I do believe strongly that we do need people on the board that have both financial and educational skills, especially in light of the recent financial crisis. One of the roles that the school board does have is to oversee the school district's budget and financial operations. And I think with my qualifications as being a CPA with 35 plus years, I have those skills. So if you believe like I do that the school board needs a numbers gal on it, then please vote for me.
All right, thank you. And let's thank Ms. Lesser for coming up.